What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. Once in a while you come across a tweet that's just so ludicrous, so absolutely absurd, that you have to stop dead in your tracks and wonder, what was the person thinking? I had to record this video in my gaming room today because I'm gonna need the computer for additional context and make sure we show the entire tweet thread to go over the information in full. But suffice it to say, there was a fairly prominent Twitter user by the name of Gene Park. Some of you may know him. He is a Washington Post games reporter. And he's got almost 90,000 followers. And I used to follow him too. Until now. JT. If it's your first time to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and bell for notifications. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think about this situation. Because I thought it was pretty cut and dry that this was the most ridiculous, ludicrous tweet that I'd ever seen. Until I saw people defending it. Now, what Gene said, we'll start with that. As someone with mental illness, the medium is a violently and ugly portrayal of how to live. We need to stop hyping all games as we heart games. Some games can be trash and mean and harmful. Show me on this doll where he hurt you, Gene. It's a video game. And I can't believe we're having this conversation in 2022. But clearly it's going to follow us our entire lives. Because people can't help themselves from inserting themselves into a situation to be offended. And make everyone know that they're offended, so they should be too. Now, I mean, full disclosure, by the way, I have not played the medium. I'm not familiar with it. I know it's a horror game, but I don't know how grotesque and bad it is. Nor do I care, because honestly, that has no impact on my position here. It's a video game. One that you can choose to not play if you don't feel like it is for you. Like all video games. This is nothing new. You know, I just feel like we're rehashing what transpired back in the 90s with Night Trap and Mortal Kombat and the ESRB coming to fruition. And these companies just slinging poop at each other, trying to one-up each other, to put the other one down in the name of, let's be honest, follow the dollar, making money. People don't understand that. They want to get offended because it makes them feel important. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I think it's the stance of, oh, you're offended? Good. Doesn't bother me. Like, that doesn't do anything. But when you start being offended proactively, have an audience, have some pull, and people start listening, then laws start getting made. And there's a slippery slope that we go down that we rehash again. And you can't see it if you're making a tweet like this. You don't even recognize that that's what's transpiring here. This was in response to literally the official Xbox replying to Greg Miller. Greg Miller said, the medium is better than Resident Evil Village. I loved Resident Evil Village, which makes me actually want to play the medium now. I'm very intrigued if that's the case coming from Greg Miller. And Xbox, the official Xbox account says, the medium and Resident Evil Village because games, heart. For some reason, you know, you pick and choose your battles in this world. And I'm picking this one to make a video on, so it frustrated me. I wanted to use my platform to share my frustration with this. As someone with a mental illness, the medium is a... So he starts it off with, as someone with a mental illness. First off, my condolences for your mental illness. Or whatever people are supposed to say to that. Like, that, if you're unfortunate you have that, I mean, that sucks. If you don't like having it, I don't know. I don't know what to say to not offend people with that. But your mental illness ain't my problem. Nor will it ever be my problem. That's something that people have to deal with internally. Like, unless I was like a professional shrink or something, meeting with these people or volunteering my time, ain't my problem. Sorry, bro. So he prefaces it with, as someone with a mental illness, the medium is a violently and ugly portrayal of how we live. It's a video game, bro. We need to stop hyping all games as we heart games. Some games can be trash. Some games can be trash. That's true. And mean. I mean, I guess some games can be mean. And harmful. I guess. I mean, if you personally take offense to playing a game and you come away from it feeling like it's trash, it's mean to you, and it's harmful to your daily life, you can choose not to play that game. If other people want to celebrate it, why can't you let them enjoy it? Why do you have to take your ball and go home and say, nope, game's not for me because I have a mental illness and it is mean and harmful. It hurts my feelings. But he goes on. He doubles down, by the way. Toxic positivity is insidious. Recognize it when it happens. Toxic positivity is insidious. Toxic positivity. I mean, I actually will agree with that. Toxic positivity is a bad thing. If you get caught up in being just overly positive about everything, then you could be ignoring some truly detrimental things in this world because all you're doing is focusing on the positives. But I don't really feel like that's here or there with his initial tweet. It's not toxic positivity coming from the official Xbox account whose job is to sell games to you, promoting all games. And if you don't want to play them, don't play them. It's literally a corporate account, a corporation, an advertising account. And you're getting mad at them being positive about what they're selling to you. Then he clarifies, a couple hours later, let me clarify. It's not about being triggered. As a recovering alcoholic, Disco Asylum is very triggering for me because of how well the game is done. Hellblade 2, a game I couldn't finish because of how effective it was. The medium mishandles itself and was meaningless. Okay, so is that your review? You didn't like the game. But to say a game mishandles, I guess it deals with alcoholism in the horror game, and it doesn't do it to your liking because you're an alcoholic, or recovering alcoholic, and you know what it's like, and these people who created their game don't. Okay. Why not use your platform and just say that? Why this whole stop hyping games as we heart games? Some games can be trash, mean, and harmful. How about use it as a positive and be like, hey, guys, I'm a recovering alcoholic and the medium actually did a poor job of portraying that. So if you also are a recovering alcoholic or feel like this could hurt you in some way, I would recommend not playing it. That's a better way, in my opinion, to handle that. As opposed to saying, stop saying all games are good games or we heart all games, because you can't do that. I've told the devs of Disco Asylum congrats on their game because it was too raw to finish for me. They said yes, if it was too much, we understand. It's a brave game that isn't for me because of what it does to me. That's fine, and I commend them for that work and intent. Even Max Payne 3's alcoholism was a lot to deal with. Why that game worked beautifully is that we see Max actively work to overcome it as a character and as a player. What if he didn't? Just let's play this game, Gene. What if Max did not overcome his alcoholism? What if that was the purpose of the game? I see a lot of people in the comments section defending this argument like games are art and we need to hold them to a certain standard because art and this and that and the other. As far as I understand art Art is in the eye of the beholder, created by an artist, and in this case, developers, if you want to go that road. What if the developers wanted to portray someone who handled alcoholism poorly? Or, I guess a better way to put it is, didn't deal with it the same way you did, or the topic that was shown in the game didn't portray it in the way you feel like it should have been portrayed. Two things you can do. One, don't play the game. Two, become a developer and make your own game. It's really that simple. Like, you can't just point at a game and say, oh, that's not doing it for me because, trust me guys, I'm an alcoholic or recovering alcoholic and I know the struggle. And that game isn't that. And that really frustrated me. You can't do that. You can't do that because that's gatekeeping what developers are allowed to make and how they want to handle topics. And that's telling them that they have to do it a certain way or else it's unacceptable for everyone, not just you, but for everyone. Do you not understand the gigantic problem that can come from that when you start going down that road? So this thread in itself turned into quite the back and forth from when I retweeted, bad take, don't like a game, move along. Which I thought was fairly harmless. I feel like this was a bad take, and if he doesn't like it, move along. Like, why you got to stand up at this game and be like, oh, it wasn't portraying alcoholism the way it really is, and it shouldn't be promoted by Xbox because that could hurt people. It's a video game. I think the problem that we have is there's a lot of, especially journalists these days, but not limited to, think that games are more than games. And I feel like this is a moment where we need to reel it back in and be like, okay, I understand you didn't feel like this game vibed with you. But at the end of the day, go play Tetris. Unless falling blocks make you feel uncomfortable or offend you. Or I don't know, like, why? Why are you taking a stand on why are you dying on this hill? It's such a weird stance to take. If you don't like the game, move along. Like, play something else. To which I got a response from this guy, Bob Vids, who I've never heard of before, but apparently has over 10,000 followers and a bunch of YouTube subscribers. Great. Doesn't mean you can't be wrong. Bad take, don't like a tweet, move along. Two completely different things, by the way. I'm literally talking about a guy gatekeeping the video game industry on what's allowed and what's not, and saying, move along from that because, Gene Park, you are an influencer, and this has an impact on the entire video game industry when you say something like this. First off, I am not. And secondly, I'm just tweeting my opinion about his tweet. Very, very different. Very different. Bob seems to think they're exactly the same. And says, bad take, don't like a tweet, move along. And we proceed to go back and forth quite a bit. And I'm just like, this guy, he's one of those, you know, can't be wrong. I'm better than you, holier than thou type people. I'm just like, I got better things to do, Bob. I'm not going to keep going back and forth with you. But point being, Bob is clearly in deep defending Gene Park here, as a lot of people were, because of a mental illness. And I go back to my original point. Sucks you have it. I'm really sorry that you struggle with, in this case, Gene, alcoholism. I'm really sorry that you've struggled with that. But don't take your problems out on someone who's just enjoying video games or enjoying the hobby, the pastime that we have. With the infinite amount of games out there, you're going to stand up and be like, stop promoting all games. Only the games that I like or approve of should be promoted. No, I wholeheartly disagree with that. I've played games that I thought were atrocious before. Atrocious. Trying to think of one off the top of my head. I don't know. I blank them out of my memory, but there's been plenty of games I've played that I'm just like, nope, ain't for me. Ain't for me. I tell people about it and say, yeah, I didn't like it. I thought it was this, that, the other thing. I didn't like it. And just like in this case, Gene, if you're like, I didn't like it because as a former alcoholic or recovering alcoholic, I didn't feel like it handled the situation properly. I think that would have been fine. But to say to the official Xbox account, stop propping up all games equally, it's like they can do what they want. It's Xbox. They're promoting games and video games. Yeah, they're two very different things. And I think that's why I'm so frustrated with this. And that's why I feel like this literally, this should be hung in the Hall of Fame right here. As someone with a mental illness, the medium is a violently and ugly portrayal of how to live. We need to stop hyping all games as we heart games. Some games can be trash and meaningful and harmful. That deserves a plaque and to go up on the wall because it's so freaking embarrassing, in my opinion. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Interested to hear what you guys have to say about it. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing.